I'm Dr. Louis Heiser, and welcome back to the Heiser Clinic podcast. Today, our topic is going to be a very common problem, that is low back pain, how to prevent it, and how to treat it if you have it. Now, that's the topic I chose today. If you have a topic that you'd like to talk about, please don't hesitate to email info@heiserclinic.com or go to the website, and we'll be glad to entertain your topic or answer your questions. With that, let's go get to work on my low back pain. Hey Chris, should I feel bad about having low back pain?
I don't think so. Unfortunately, 80% of the population experiences low back pain at one time or another. And it's actually the #1 cause for missed work. And the main thing people do the wrong thing they do is they never do anything about it. They say, oh, I've got bad low back pain. So let's take a look at some of the stretches and some of the strength exercises we can do to really help improve and prevent those low back problems from happening.
Yeah, if everyone needs to be doing these just to prevent low back pain. No, Chris, I like to look at things as simply as possible. And when I think of low back pain, I think of two things: weak core muscles, abs and back, and really tight hamstrings. And I think if we can strengthen the core and loosen the hamstrings, my back pain will go away.
So first, it's really important we have strong abdominals. We're going to start out with a tougher version of the regular crunch, a toe touch crunch. Denise is going to raise her legs up. She's going to crunch upwards, trying to reach the tiptoes. This one really puts a lot of emphasis right on the abdominals. So you're really going to feel the burn. And she'll hit 15 to 20 repetitions. Remember to breathe normally throughout. Now let's try another one that hits more of the lower abdominals. And let's do some flutter kicks, Denise. Here we go, very good. Nice straight legs. And she's really focusing on keeping her abdominals very firm throughout. So she's working not only the abdominals, but a little bit into the hip flexors as well. All that area ties into low back strength, okay, keeping it nice and tight together. Now let's flip all the way over, some exercises for the back side of the core. And first we're going to start out with some donkey kicks from the all four position. She's kicking her leg back and up, and it's real key here that she's activating the glute muscle and the hamstrings. As Dr. Heiser said, the hamstrings relate very closely to that low back health. 15 to 20 repetitions per leg is really going to help strengthen that whole zone. And now let's try some fire hydrants. Kicking the leg out to the side, just like so. Very good. And this is actually working the side of the glute muscle. Again, a really important zone that we want to help strengthen and keep it in balance so it's not so tight. Let's do a few exercises with the stability ball. Let's first start out on our back with a stability ball crunch, Denise. Again, the abdominal strength is very important in terms of that low back health. We have to have some strong abdominals to maintain an upright posture. Notice how her upper back is lying on top of the ball. Her main focus here is she's really contracting the upper abdominals, feeling that upper half squeeze. Okay, the whole core is really being engaged too by being on the ball. The ball forces you to balance and really work the entire core musculature. And now let's flip over. So let's start out with a dolphin kick. Now this is a great move here. It hits the entire zone we're focusing on today. The low back, the glutes, and the hamstrings. So notice that her hips are on the ball. Her legs are staying fairly straight. She's coming up as high as she can, while her upper body just drops a tiny bit. So we're getting a nice hyperextension there. Very good, and she's really contracting those glutes. Feel the burn there?
Wow.
Hitting the low back, glutes, and hamstrings.
Absolutely.
Now let's do some swimmers from the stability ball position. We're going to raise our opposite arm and leg. These can also be done on the floor if you don't have a stability ball. Notice the balance is a little tricky there, and that's good. That forces the core muscles to maneuver and stabilize the body. Excellent, super. And this one again is hitting the glutes, the hamstrings, and even tying in the upper back as well. And one more. This one requires either a partner or a wall. Put your feet against the partner or wall, and she's going to do a back extension. Hands behind her head, as high as she can lift, up and down. Real important part here is contracting those glutes as well. That's going to keep your low back safe. It's going to strengthen that zone we're working on. It's really going to help prevent or help if you have low back pain. And again, 15 to 20 repetitions 3 times a week would be perfect. Hey, let's get to some stretches here. So we're going to go through stretches for those areas that affect our low back. Number 1, our hamstrings, the back of the leg. Number 2, our glutes, not just the big part, but the side as well. And then number 3, the low back tying into the obliques. So we're going to hit all those areas. Let's first start out with the hamstrings with Denise and Dr. H. Let's do a real basic hamstring stretch here, Denise. Raising your leg up and pulling back to feel the tension throughout the hamstring, stretching into the glute. Okay, you want to feel just to the point of slight discomfort, but not pain. Now, if we want to step this one up a little bit, we'll bring it back, relax, and then straighten the leg. This is going to give you a much bigger, deeper stretch. Same areas, but just a little higher intensity. Very good. If you're feeling any low back pain when doing these, stop this version, go back to the modified version. Dr. Heiser's using a stretch band. You can easily use a belt to do this. That's simply adding even more intensity to that stretch. Now we hit the hamstrings and the glutes there. Let's hit the side of the glutes. So let's bring this leg up again, and we're going to cross our leg over our knee. And Denise is actually going to pull this leg through. Very good. So what we're hitting here is the side of the glute, all right, and the piriformis muscle. Big fancy word there. Just know you'll feel it very intensely here because this is a very tight muscle in 90% of the population. And if it's tight there, it's going to tighten up your hips. That's going to lead to low back issues. Notice they're breathing nicely. One thing you don't want to do when stretching is hold your breath. The more you breathe and breathe deeply, the deeper it allows you to get into that stretch. Very good. You want to hold them at least 15 to 30 seconds when you do these. All right, let's sit up a little bit and we'll do a pretzel twist. Sitting all the way up. We're going to cross one leg over, and then we're going to turn the opposite direction. There we go. And she's putting a little bit of pressure on the outside of her knee, so she's really getting a great stretch throughout the whole torso, the lower torso there. Getting the core involved, the low back involved. Excellent. Very good. Again, 15 to 30 seconds for each move. All right, let's flip over. Do some direct stretches for the low back now. Let's start out with a cat and a camel stretch. We'll go ahead and round your back, eyes looking at your belly. So you're getting a great stretch of the low back all the way through the mid, even into the upper back. Very good stretch here. And this one you can alternate with the arch back. Lowering your back down now and looking up towards the ceiling. So again, you're hitting the same zones, but really especially the low back here. A great way to do these two stretches is to go back and forth, holding each one for 10 to 15 seconds. Continue breathing. Very good. We can feel that low back really loosening up. Really loosening up, especially the upper back as well. The hamstrings and glutes, getting a small stretch on top of it. Super job. So if you go through these stretches, these simple stretches, daily, ideally, you're really going to help prevent that low back pain. The whole goal is to create some flexibility and mobility in those hips, low back, and solid abs so that we can keep away low back pain, stay flexible, keep our postures great, and feel good and look good in the future. Whoa, 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 Dr. H. Watch how you're picking up those weights. Your back's rounding. Make sure to use those big muscles. Nice flat back. Whew.
Thanks, Chris.
That was a close one. Surest way to disaster is picking up something heavy with a rounded back. So make sure to use those legs and hips.
Think how often that happens every day at work. Think about it and save your back. I hope these tips helps your low back pain.
So come see us at theheiserclinic.com.
The science of fitness.